Remember to close that window out. Yes, leave it right there. Haha. So, we're good?
Very good.
Yes, sir. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to have a very interesting conversation. Kind of ah, what's going on out there in the world with the celebrities, and it's just really wrenching, heart wrenching to see that some of these celebrities have actually uh, built an empire, and it seems like it's crumbling right in front of our eyes. My name is Gard Soshai, and we're gonna be having a conversation about Diddy, the Combs family, Christian Combs, and through a little bit of everybody else in there that have been mentioned over the period of what's been going on prior to the raid of Diddy's homes, and even bringing a man by the name of Jonathan Odie, who mentioned some of these things that has been taking place from when he was interrogated back in 2018. And we've done a few a few clips ourselves highlighting some of these issues and circumstances that have been taking place for Sean Combs, aka Diddy, Brother Love, P Diddy, Puff Daddy, as he was known in the past, and now he's well known as Diddy. But he's been accused of SA, along with his son, uh, trafficking, just a let's say a smorgasbord of different things that's been thrown out there, and we all are scrambling to say, did he do it? Is he really guilty of doing this? And even though he he's claiming that he's innocent of everything that's happening, it makes us wonder, because for many years people have been saying that Diddy is he likes men, he's gay, and I can't recall him ever coming out and refuting the fact that he's actually a heterosexual straight man. He's has not said it, and it makes us all wonder. And for that reason is some of the reason why this is going on. Because I remember even the celebrity by the name of 50 Cent, and everybody know who 50 Cent is by now. He's a big dog in industry, from music to film. He's a big dog. And while on the Breakfast Club, he said that Diddy would say things that he don't even know that he's fruity. That is things that he's saying. And on another show, which we call it's called the Drink Champ, they mention they showed a clip of Diddy calling, I think it was Fabulous, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
saying
Fabulous.
Fabulous. I like the way you do that, Daddy. I like how you
Scrambling and scraping.
scrambling and scraping for that, Daddy. Like it makes you wonder, like, is this man really who he say he is? But everybody has secrets. We all do, and some of us don't want those secrets to come out, so we'll do the best to hide those secrets. And even in the past, when Tupac and Biggie got deleted, I wondered about what really took place, because during that time when Suge Knight and Puff Daddy, as he was known then, were going through those issues, when Suge Knight went on the stage and say, "If you don't want the CEO of your label to be all in the videos, dancing and going on, come over to Death Row," right? And then after that, things just started going sideways and left and all different directions. It makes you wonder. And then then Tupac got deleted. Wait a second. No, before that happened, he was set up to be robbed, right? And him and Biggie were very good friends, and Even he was good friends with Luther Campbell. They were all friends. But after that episode when Tupac was assaulted and robbed, it makes you started wondering what's really going on. But before that happened, he had put out some music that really rubbed Diddy the wrong way, and he was on the war path. You know, uh, music executive got assaulted, bashed over the head with liquor bottle, chairs, broken arms, assaulted, and nothing happened to Diddy. Absolutely nothing. It makes you wonder: is this man the real Teflon Don? Like nothing is happening to him. So it, as time goes on, when someone gets away with small things, case in point, everybody, if any logical thinking man or woman looked at the situation, what happened with Shine, right? You could absolutely positively know that it was not Shine that did that deed. It was absolutely not positive not Shine because I'm not saying that I'm the smartest kid on the block, but I'm smart enough to think logically, and look at the scenario and the facts, and say, hey, somebody's been set up here, and somebody's going to be the fall guy. And if anyone knows about the music industry, because I was a former artist, and we have a guest in the studio. For now, we'll not call his name. You know, uh, let's just say he's the man in black, right? And back then, when the things were happening, and you looked at it like, okay, wait, how is it that everybody that go under the bad boy umbrella always end up being accused of being the bad boy, and the real bad boy is the one that's just sitting back pretty? I'm not saying everything is alleged. I'm not saying that he's guilty of what he's doing. I'm just saying I'm stating some of these facts. And I'm not going to necessarily delve deep into some of the lawsuits that's been going on. I'm just going to like browse and scave over it some. But I can tell you from my understanding, anytime there's a saying that if you want your career to not go anywhere, sign to Bad Boy, right? Because it's a cemetery. You go there for your career to die, right? The other labels have it been mentioned that other labels have done that to artists, but when you think about all the artists that gone through Bad Boy, the only I think there's only three prior to Biggie that you can actually say that had some serious recognition. Carl Thomas had some recognition, but Biggie, you had Craig Mack, and you had who else was that? Um,
Was it Mace?
yeah, you had Mace. There was somebody else. Biggie, Craig Mack, Mace, uh, Carl Thomas, uh, and who else it was? Shine had just a little stint, but it was a
Right.
short time. And,
Um,
and the
yeah,
Locks,
yeah, the
right?
locks, right, correct.
But if you notice, the biggest artist on Bad Boy is Sean Diddy Combs. And everybody that had worked with Sean Combs seems to always had some contention with him. He hold on to their royalties, their publishing. He would not release it. He didn't want them to out him on any radio station, tell them to come to the office so he can talk to them. This has all been going. So it's not just the music. Is appears as he's been doing this to people all along. I'm not. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just stating some of the things that actually has been going on. Now, in the recent time, uh, no, before I go that fast forward, I spoke about Tupac being taken out, and then Biggie got taken out. Let me go into that a little bit. Biggie had one album left, and after Biggie delivered that one album, he was going to depart bad boy. Hey, my guy that's in the studio right now, he was a former artist. I was a former artist that, and I had aspiration of being an artist. And I can say this, that if you want to actually leave a label and that label want to hold on to you, they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that you don't. Let me just throw two of the biggest historically two of the biggest artists ever, Prince and Michael Jackson. If you, in your right mind, think that they just passed on their own volition, then maybe your eyes, maybe your sleep, your eyes are wide shut. Or what's the saying? Your eyes are wide shut. Is it that? Is
Sounds right.
right?
Wide
Yeah,
shut,
yeah,
yeah.
your eyes are wide shut.
Okay, right. So it's crazy that and they take medication because they have certain over years of performing they have certain ailments, certain pains, so they have to take medication for the pain. But then all of a sudden, a new doctor get placed in the whole pool of healthcare, and then Michael Jackson is no more, and then
They
the
call them handlers.
handlers.
Yeah, they're handlers. That's what they call them.
Exactly, right? So with that being said, we go on to Prince. The same thing happened to Prince. All of a sudden, the medication that he was taking, something got slipped into the medication, and he ended up taking the wrong medication. And hey, got taken out too. Some of these things I'm saying, I'm not making them up. They're out there for the general public to consume, right? And why? Because Michael Jackson, had Michael Jackson left when he delivered his last album and he was done with the record label that he was signed to,
Sony.
Sony, he would have owned 50% of Sony Publishing. That meant he would have been the single most powerful person in the music industry. But after he mentioned certain names, it seemed like he was targeted.
Tommy Mottola.
Aha. He opened his mouth and said the wrong names. And then, hey, here comes the big bad wolves. I said wolves for a reason because it wasn't one person name might be mentioned, but let's face it, we know that it needs more than one person to accomplish any deed, right? Learn, think, say. Make sense? All right. So I'm going to tell you a brief history of why I decided that I no longer wanted to be an artist, right? It wasn't because of my looks. I wasn't the best looking guy on the block, but it was kind of attractive. Girls was giving me some play, but
Yeah, boy.
but I had to make a decision. So I'm going to tell the story, and then we can continue. So
Yeah,
when I
boy.
was younger, I was in my 20s. I had a buddy of mine who it was actually a guy who was dating one of my sister, and he we started hanging out. He was a reggae artist, and we started hanging out. And he took me down to back then it was called Luke Skywalker Record or Skywalker Records. And I was sitting in the lobby, and he said Luther Campbell came out to say something to the front desk person, and he said, "Hey, my friend right there, he can rap." He said, "Yeah." He said, "You can rap?" I said, "Yeah, I can rap." He said, uh, "Let me hear something." So I was kind of nervous, but I let him hear a few bars, and he was like, "Hmm, sounds good. I like your voice. You sound good. Do you have anything else I could hear?" So I said, "Excuse me." So I said, "Yeah," and I gave him a demo I had. I think I had like 2 songs on it, and he liked it, and he was like, "When can you come back and we could talk?" So I went back and we sat down and we talked, and it was kind of brief. And he was like, "I'm interested in you. I'm interested. Maybe we could talk about you signing to Luke Skywalker Records, to my label." And when he said that, man, I got so excited. But I didn't let the excitement overpower me. I got on the phone, right? And I call my family lawyer, Doug, and I say, "Hey, Doug, uh, Luther Campbell is interested in, he says he's interested in signing me to his label." He says, "Really?" He says, "Before you do that, come to the office so we could talk." So I went down to South Beach and I went down to his office and I sat down with him and he says, "Let me tell you something. Luke is a good guy, not a bad guy, but I don't think you'd want to sign to his label." And anybody knows that anybody that's a label executive, they're going to get some scandal going on, and the artists are not artists are never going to be happy. They're going to always think that they're being robbed or something like that, even if they're not being robbed, right? But at the time, there was something more uh, sinister wouldn't be the right word, but there was something legalistic going on. Okay, yeah, that's exactly something legalistic going on. And he said, right now would not be the time to sign to his label because there's some things going on. And he asked me, "Do have you ever heard of uh, Little Joe Records?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Okay, Little Joe Records. The guy that owns Little Joe Records is the attorney that invests in Luke having Luke Skywalker Records or Luke Records, and they're going to some litigation right now. And Luke owes a lot of money, and Joe is going to take all the catalog from him, right? So I'm going to introduce you to Joe. So come to the house. I'm going to set it up, and you come by on Thursday." So he set it up with Joe. Joe was out of town, and then when Joe come back the following Thursday, I went by Doug's house, and Joe was there sitting working on a laptop, and he introduced me, and he said, "So hey, so you're the artist, you're so shy." I said, "Yes, that's me." He says, "I don't need to hear anything. I don't need to hear your music. The fact that Doug uh, uh, recommended you is enough for me, right? Because I've known Doug for a long time, and I trust Doug's word. But I cannot sign you to Little Joe Records." And to this day, I believe if you look up Little Joe Records, you'll notice that they own all of the Luther Campbell catalog, old catalog, right? And he says, "I can't, excuse me, I can't sign you. However, there's going to be a event going on in Atlanta, and I want you to go, right?" He said, "You have to get there. It's going to start 12 noon on Saturday, and it's going to go all night until Sunday. And I'm going to be there, and I'm going to introduce you to some people." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Okay. All right." So that was a Thursday. The Friday, a buddy of mine, a neighborhood friend of mine, came over in a new flashy car. And I was like, "Whoa, this is a nice car." He had no shirt on. His shirt was over the steering column. And I'm like, "Man, this car is nice. When did you buy it?" He said, I just picked it up. I didn't know what he meant by that. He was like, "I just picked it up. You want to drive?" So I decided, yeah, I want to drive. My dumb ass. So I went inside, put my shoes on, put my clothes on because I was in my shorts, jumped in the car, and he says, "I'm gonna go check my cousin." So we started driving over to, it was called Liberty. No, not Liberty City. It was called uh back then, before it's called Carol City, right? And so we went over to Carol City, and we got into a neighborhood, and we were driving around, and I said, "Where's your cousin's house?" He says, "Down the street." So we got down the street. Oh, he says, "Not here." Went to the next street. Oh, it's not here. So where is your cousin's house? We've been driving around for a while. So I guess someone must have got suspicious. This is just my assumption. Someone must have got suspicious and called the police. So one at a time, we're going around the block again, and there's a police behind. And I said to him, "Hey, there's a police following us." He says, "Oh shit, drive." And I panicked and I pressed the gas. And I pressed the gas, and the police realized I sped up, and he turned his light on. And I was driving, and I'm panicking, right? I'm panicking. Oh, is that look in that bag? I think in the front pocket, front pocket. Yeah, yeah. No, front pocket, front pocket, right there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. You see a phone in there? Yeah, turn it off. Yeah. Um, so I apologize for that, everyone. I forgot about that phone. The other phones were turned off, but that one I forgot about it. But it's solved now, right? Hey, I guess a little excitement. I guess whoever wanted to talk, maybe they're watching the stream and decide that, hey, I wanna chime in too, right? Anyway, let's continue. So I panicked and I'm driving around the neighborhood and I'm cutting into corners and going around the curve and then boom, I hit a car and I jumped out and the guy jumped out. I'm not gonna mention his name; it's not really important. But he jumped out, and I ran behind someone's house and went underneath their shed. And I later found out that he ran, jumped into the kennel, and swam across to the other side, so he was safe. Me now, who never, I didn't steal the car, had no clue the car was stolen, end up getting arrested. Police took me downtown, and he was so angry that he had to chase me that he punched me in my sternum right here, right, and said, that's for making me chase you, right?" And the thoughts going through my mind, man, if
Stupid.
you know, and and I said, man. Anyway, they took my mugshot.
Stupid.
I end up get put in a cellar, and in the cell, I was sitting there, and I'm pacing back and forth, and like I shouldn't be here. I should be on my way to get to be going to Georgia to be at this event. So I sat down, and I put my hand on my head, and I'm rapping to myself. And I get up, and I'm walking around and rapping to myself. And then they let a guy in, and I looked up, and he's a dread. So I sat down and I'm rapping to myself and I get up and I'm in my zone because I'm just trying to block out what's going on because I'm hoping that I get released so I can get in a car and head to Georgia because I need to be at this event, right? So he heard me and he said, "Yo, yeah, yard man." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You don't look like you're supposed to be here. You're too clean cut, nice hair, well cut, well groomed. You don't look like you belong in this kind of place. What happened?" So I told him of what took place and why I'm there. And he said, "A party?" I said, "Yeah, I'm supposed to go to a party in Georgia, right?" And he says to me, "Where?" I said, "In Atlanta." He said, "You know who's supposed to be there?" I say, "Yeah, I was told that some heavy hitters, some music executives, and some artists are going to be there. And the person told me to go there say he's going to introduce me to them to try to get me signed to a label." So with that note in my head, I'm frustrated because I'm where I didn't want to be, and I shouldn't be there because I didn't go out and steal anyone's car. I was just driving. But hey, when you're with someone that did something, you're also accused of doing it too. It's automatic assumption. You can. And then I ran, you know, because I panicked. However, let's continue. He says to me, uh, "Where you are right now is the best place for you." I said, "What? What do you mean it's the best place?" He says, "That party you're going to go." And now, people, I'm going to say this. This was said to me back in the early 90s, right? And years later, it was said exactly what he told me came out in the public. So he says to me, at that party, no, before he said to me, he said, "Listen, I tour for some major label artists. I tour for Whitney Houston. I tour with Bobby Brown. I tour with Shaggy. I tour with Heavy D and a few other celebrities. I play the drum. I'm a guitarist and I play the saxophone, but I specialize in the guitar and the drum, right?" He says, "Where you are right now is the best place." So I'm puzzled. And he says, "When you go there, that party where you're supposed to go, Heavy D is going to be there, Bobby Brown is going to be there, Whitney Houston is going to be there, Clive is going to be there, and he just rolling off some names, right? And he said this to me. This is what exactly what he says to me. He says, years from now, you're going to hear that Whitney got Bobby hooked on drugs. I said, really? He said, yes. But it's the other way around.
What did he say?
Exactly. It's the other way around, right? Because he also said that Whitney
What
goes
did he say?
both ways. And,
Hey yo, what the fuck? Hey yo.
and I can tell you this. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. I'm like,
Hey,
why
yo,
are you
what the
telling me this
fuck?
stuff?
Hey yo.
Right? I just want to get to this event. I just want to get to this event because I want to get signed. That was just my concern. And he reiterated to me, listen, where you are right now is the best place for you. And then I, still after I got out a day later, I'm still pursuing what I want to pursue. And then I started hearing little whispers like, hey, I said, wait, let me back up. I missed a very important thing. He said, when you were young, let me go back to him for a second. My apologies. He says, when you're a young, inspiring artist without representation, when you're a young, inspiring artist just going to these kind of events and they see that you have talent, two things could happen to you. One, they will drug you and get someone to give you fellatio,
What did he say?
drug you and get gay men to take advantage of you and record all of this.
What?
During a contract negotiation. And because you don't want it to come out, you're going to sign the contract. Or number two,
What?
they will sign you and you become a writer, a ghostwriter, and they'll take all of the credit and shelf you. You'll never come out, right? All right, let's go back now to where I was going. So, a while, years, sometime after, I'm still pursuing music, but sometime after, I started hearing, hey, this is what's happening to this artist, and this is what happening to that artist. And I'm thinking, reflecting, like, this guy told me, some time back that these things are happening. So I got nervous now. Like, imagine if I had gone to this party, what would have taken place? What would have happened to me? Because I was going without representation. Joe said he would have introduced me to the people, but he didn't say that he was representing me. Okay, so then start hearing about Whitney and Bobby and this whole drugs, and I said, you know what? I no longer want to be an artist, and I started pursuing being an artist manager. That was why I decided I didn't want to be a recording artist anymore, right? Now, that being said, I've been hearing these things from in the 90s about these kind of freak offs and events that's been going on and these assaults that's been going on. So now, recently, I think it was March 25 of this year, 2024, on the Gregorian calendar, as I like to say, because that's the calendar that we're under, Diddy's house was raided for the very same thing that he's been accused of for a very long time, right? And it's not far fetched to think that he may be guilty. Now, I don't know. I wasn't there, but he never comes out and say he's not. He doesn't do anything. It's usually his lawyer. But anybody, even think about Jeffrey Epstein. Think about what's the other one from the uh, Weinberg. What's his first name? The film executive. Steven Weinberg.
Yeah, Steven Weinberg.
Okay, Steven Weinberg, right? And think about Steven Weinberg. All these guys, they've been doing this.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stacy. Harvey Weinstein.
But he said Weinstein earlier.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah. So But now check this out. Let's draw some correlation here. R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, Diddy, uh,
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby, uh, so many of them, and they all know each other. There are other people that I could call their names, but I won't. It's not really necessary right now. But they all roll in the same circle. They all go to these parties, these freak off parties, right? So would it be far fetched to say that the apple don't fall far from the tree? I wouldn't say that. When the apple falls from the tree, it falls right to the root of the tree. It may roll off a little distance, but it's still right under the umbrella of the tree. So that means the tree is still protecting the apple in some ways, even after it fell off, right? Because that's the parent. So
Right.
now we have Diddy, parent, and we have Christian, son, like father, like son, right? So we know that Diddy have got SA lawsuits filed against them, and as I mentioned earlier on, for trafficking, for having affairs with minors, moving them across state, doing let's call it multiple sums with one girl and multiple men, right? Not getting too graphic, but you get the picture, right? And so here it is now that the son is doing accused of doing the same thing. And when you look at their pictures, as you see right now on the screen, they look exactly alike, right? You can see it. You can see it. When I look at the picture, I'm trying to be like a psychic or something like that right now. But looking at Diddy's eyes on the picture is almost as if you can see that he's a sinister dude, right? But hey, maybe that's just a little bit of satire. All right. So let's play the video without like I mentioned to you earlier. Let the clip play. So in recent Christian, you know, they have had some event on a yacht, and they allegedly, thank you, event on a yacht, and all of this started kind of cascading because of the lawsuit that Cassie settled with Diddy, and now, and then right after that, then another lawsuit came out with the producer. What's his name? What was the producer's name? Give me a second. Uh, well, no, give me a second. Give me a second. I'm going to tell you. Give me a second. I just pull a blank. It's here somewhere. What was the what's the producer that recently sued Diddy again? Uh, could you look that up for me?
Yep, already on it.
No, no. Stacy's looking it up for me. She's gonna mention it. Yeah. The, um. Yeah. Rodney Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Jones. My apologies, people. I just, it slipped my mind. I'm 100 years old. Don't blame me. It's not my fault.
No.
Right?
Okay.
So Rodney Jones, right there. Rodney Jones. He filed a lawsuit against Diddy and also mentioned Cuba Gooding Jr. Now, Cuba Gooding Jr. had also got accused of SA years ago. So the bunch, this is like the the freak off bunch, the freak off bunch, right? The freak off bunch, right? So he accused he accused Diddy of trying to sell him off in a way, kind of, right? And so to know that Jones mentioned this and then follow up. What happens? Here comes another lawsuit, and this time it was with Christian Christian
Bruh.
Combs. Yes, sir. Christian Combs. There he is, right? And um, pause it
Bruh.
for me. Go to Christian Combs. Let the clip play and go to Christian Combs. I want yeah, right. Let's leave him right there for a second, right? So I'm gonna read this some excerpt from the lawsuit, kind of what I put together, um, partly, right? So let me read this. So pull up that article and put it on the screen. I don't know if you can do a split screen, like shrink that and put the article right beside him. Yeah. Uh, I have the article here on the laptop, so you can just shrink that screen and then just put him, yeah, put him beside it. So while I read it, so ah, while you work on that, I'm gonna start the reading.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Diddy named as co-defendant in a new lawsuit. In a new lawsuit. Sorry. Diddy named as co-defendant in a new suit alleging that his son, S.A. woman and on yacht. Grace Omarke, let me move this up. Grace Omarke, who worked as a crew member and a bartender on the boat, says that in late December 2022, Christian Combs pressured her into drinking tequila that she believed was spiked with drugs. Now, that's a serious allegation. Uh, so this case was filed in the Los Angeles court. Right? It says a lawsuit that named Sean Diddy Combs as co-defendant alleges that his son Christian King Combs, S.A., a woman who worked on a yacht chartered by Sean Diddy Combs. The suit was filed on Thursday, April 4th, 2024, in Los Angeles Superior Court. Grace Omarke versus Christian Combs. The case number is 24 STCV 08571. Goes on to say, uh, Sean Combs created the circumstances that led to the assault and paid to cover it up afterwards. Now, if someone that has not done this before, let's just be reasonable here. If someone has never done this before, paid to cover something up, the first thing that they'd want to do is find out exactly what took place. They would immediately default into paying to cover it up. So I believe, right, that this is very plausible that it's exactly what took place, that he immediately went into default mode. Hey, let's just pay this. I give some money and you guys go away. Right? All right. So let me continue. It's one of the latest in the series of lawsuits accusing the producer and music mogul of S.A. misconduct. I'm paraphrasing here. What you see on the screen is going to be a bit different. Of S.A. misconduct, and it comes amid a federal S.A. trafficking investigation that led to Homeland Security agents to raid his homes in Los Angeles and Miami on March 25, 2024. Grace Omarque, who worked as a crew member and a bartender on the boat, says that in late December, Christian Combs pressured her to drink tequila that she believed was spiked with other drugs. He groped her he groped her breasts and genitalias and attempted to force her to perform fellatio, the lawsuit alleges. I went down too far. Let me move this here. Give me a second. Uh, it just the file just jumped. Okay, I'm back here again. The lawsuit alleges. Uh, the lawsuit also accused Sean Diddy Combs and two others of essaying a 17-year-old girl in 2023. Now, guys, do you see how far back this has been going? This has been going. This I was told of something that was happening in the 90s, and I watched a clip and of an old man who grew up with Diddy's mother and father before Diddy's father was taken out, and he said, and I quote exactly. I don't have the video. I just saw the video. He says, "What you see going on now, it has not. It's not just. It didn't just start. It has been going on for a long time. It's been going on in the industry for a long time. And what you see that Diddy's been happening, it's been going on in his circle. That means the people that influence him, there is influence of people, right? Or people that influenced him, should I say. So it's something that he is accustomed to. So let me continue. Uh, the Associated Press does not typically name people who say they have been SA'd unless they publicly come forward, as Omarke has done. She also consent to being named through her attorney, right? Aaron Dyer, an attorney for Sean and Kristen Combs, called the lawsuit lewd.
And
Thought I
meritless.
turned that off. Called the lawsuit lewd and
Meritless.
meritless. We will be filing a motion to dismiss this outrageous claim, Dyer said in a statement. Di- Dyer called the investigation that brought last week's raid nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusation made in civil, I should say, in a civil lawsuit. Sean Combs, Sean Combs, who catered the yacht throughout the holiday in 2022, had a full control of the staff and premises, and created the circumstances where her assault was not only tolerated but encouraged. Omarke, who was 25 at the time, said when Christian Combs, then 24, came aboard late one night, he appeared heavily intoxicated and began giving her uh, inappropriate attention. She said the two were in a music studio on board the ship where producer Rodney Jones, who filed his own lawsuit in February, was told to be available around the clock for Sean to work on his next album. Amarke said in the lawsuit that Christian Combs was insisting that she take shots of the tequila and she drunk out of obligation. The lawsuit alleges he became increasingly aggressive with her, viol- violently groping her arm, and she tried to get out of the situation and then groping her. The drink made everything blurry, unusually quick, the suit say.
Wow.
So,
Rodney Jones, just to add also, Rodney Jones also alleged that his other Justin Combs was spiking drinks at the parties.
really,
Yes, that was part of his lawsuit. So it's interesting
oh,
that,
I didn't read through the whole thing.
yes.
On one of the videos that we did,
Hmm.
the link to the entire lawsuit there. I was actually trying to find the link for the one for Justin Combs,
Hmm.
but the site where I went to grab it, they wanted
No problem.
account and all. I didn't want to do that.
So,
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
it seems like this, like you said, like father, like son, allegedly. You know, you have Kristen Combs. Now you have Justin Combs, who was already named prior to this being released about spiking drinks for all the guests that attended the parties that Diddy held.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So think about it. Anybody that drink, even on occasions, not a avid drinker, right? If you drink liquor, I'm not a drinker, and the first time I actually had a Heineken, I was no promotion of Heineken. The first time I actually drank some liquor, a beer, I was 27, and after I gulped it down, like maybe not even quarter way, I started feeling dizzy. No, that's because I'm not a drinker. But a person that works on a cruise ship or is a bartender have to take shots to get her customers or the guests kind of relaxed and want to buy more. It's just a normal thing. If you ever been to a bar or a club, you'll see where the bartender will take a shot, right? Some of them actually uh, drink some water, right? So they don't really get drunk. It's not really a shot. They just make you think that they're taking a shot,
Yes.
right? But others actually really take a shot. So this young woman stated, she said that she drank it out of obligation in a sense, right? But she's a bartender. She always drink. She have to do it. So for her to immediately started feeling blurry and unusually quick, something was wrong with that liquor. That's any logical person will realize that. So let me continue. There were microphones in the studio where Rodney Jones was told to capture everything. He recorded their exchanges, and the lawsuit include a transcript where Omarke demands that Christian Combs stop touching her. And if you see any of the pictures online, you will see that there are some serious, real bruises on her arm. I've seen them, and I've looked at the picture. I kind of analyze it with my naked eyes. Of course, I'm not a forensic scientist, but it appears that what she says and the pictures that she's taken backs up this lawsuit. Uh, the suit alleges that her latest, sorry, the suit alleges that he later continued the assault in the ship movie theater, which was used as a spare sleeping area and where she was a place to uh, attempting to find a place to spend the night. No, she was finding a place for him to sleep that night. So this is a little, I guess, I mistyped some parts of this, but I'll clarify. She was looking for a place, and the theater was often used as a spare area for guests to sleep. Right. So let me continue. Where all before the crew members appear. Okay, attempted to find a place. Da, 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 before, let me just go. Amarke told the yacht captain about the assault the following morning, but she alleges that that after Combs gave him a large amount of cash the same day, the captain filed a meaningful investigation or take or take or take any action. That means he did not investigate. So here's what I listened to other articles or audio, and I read some other articles. And here's what it stated that took place. So the captain got a large sum of cash from Diddy. That was the payoff to make it go away. And the two individuals that were on the ship were actually partners. They were in a relationship. Right? They call them partners. They were in a relationship. And after they the investigation was going on that the captain was conducting, he did not question the two of them. He only questioned everybody else. Now, come on, if two people or one person or any amount of people are at any particular place, an event or any particular place, and something took place, an accident, an incident, something, you want to question the people that actually, the people were actually there, not people that aren't there, because that makes no logical sense. They're not going to be able to give you accurate information. Everybody agree? That makes sense? Yeah?
Right.
Right? What do you say, Trick?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes no logical sense why you'll ask everybody else questions that they're not there, and the two people that they're there, you didn't ask them any question, and then you went on to terminate the individual who the assault happened on. That's like an open wound, and you pour salt and lime inside of it. That's cruelty, right? That that captain need to be tied up and shot with a load of shit, right? He's that egregious. Again, I'm gonna repeat because somebody just laughed because she found it really funny, right?
Yes.
He needs to be tied up and shot with a load of shit because he's that egregious, right? Okay, let's continue. Uh, the suit state Omari was eventually fired, as stated, retaliation, and has since been unable to find work in the music industry where she had planned to build a music career. She also wanted to build up a repertoire on the cruise in the cruise industry because she had favors in a sense. She had recommendation, or she was commended for her great excellent work that she's done for the time that she's been on there. And anyone that's worked on a cruise ship before, because I've been on a cruise ship before, and I've seen some nice looking woman on the ship, and I try to say hi, and they would kindly nicely give me the cold shoulder. That means that they can't fraternize with the guest. So if if you're working with high end executives, millionaires and billionaires, uber millionaires and billionaires, and then you go and fraternize with them, and they take you off and living the wild high life, and then maybe for a year, 2 years, this the crew is going to be diminished really quick because it's going to be a quick churn, a quick turnaround time, and they're going to have to retrain someone else again every single time. So they make sure that they're in the guidelines and their rules and regulation that the staff must not fraternize, they cannot date, they cannot indulge in any special favors with the guest on the ship or the people that rent the ship because they don't want to lose the staff. And she was commended for following those guidelines. So when you think about it, that she was terminated and then retaliated on based on her performing her job just because some schmuck got paid off for and did a botched investigation, he then decide that he's going to terminate her and then they're going to retaliate on her. That guy's a special kind of jackass, right? So let's continue here. Mm. I guess so. She has suffered severe emotional trauma. So, huh?
Distress.
Yes, distress. So let me add some context to that. After she got terminated and retaliated on, she went into some deep depression. She had developed an eating disorder, lost a lot of weight, kind of wanted to delete herself. It was just a very serious time for her, in my opinion. And I ask this, and everyone out there, I ask this of you. You can answer in the comments. Now, don't you think that she deserved a hefty payoff for this ridiculous, tumultuous experience that she had because of the Combs apple?
Well, I mean, this is all alleged,
Yeah.
and we only have one side. As for now, is her, her side,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Let's do
moving.
some correlation here.
I mean, we can correlate because then it's like the what is it, being judged by the public?
No,
Or
no,
so?
no. Okay. Remember in earlier when I said I'm not 100% disagreeing with you. I'm saying no because I'm gonna throw the perspective into it now. Remember I said Jonathan Odie from 2008 mentioned some of these stuff. Other people have been abused, beaten up, battered, and got paid off. Many years ago, when Heavy D and Puffy back then was doing a show, 9 people died.
Yeah.
Nothing happened to Puffy.
I was actually at that show
Aha,
in Mount Vernon.
aha. Then Shine, woman got shot in the club. Shine went off to jail. Nothing happened to Puffy. Everybody's just been getting paid off. So why I say I'm going to put some correlation to it is because uh, Cassie's lawsuit correlates with Jones's lawsuit. That correlates with McKay lawsuit, right? So that's 3 different lawsuits that's stating the same thing or very similar things.
These, in particular, this lawsuit here was what Christian Combs
Right.
alleged,
Right.
allegedly committed or
So
afflicted on this young lady, but Puffy or Sean Combs was mentioned because he chartered the boat
Right,
or the yacht.
right.
So he wasn't necessarily
he's not the
present.
accuser.
He's not being accused.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. He allegedly. I mean, obviously.
It's the son, right?
So this is definitely Christian. Right. This is his. This is his situation. The thing is, obviously, the father going back to the fruit falling far from the block from the tree, right? Because I believe that's where you were trying to put the emphasis on within the conversation here that we're having. When you look at the situation from a legal standpoint, as Stacy has mentioned earlier, it is an alleged situation. He is not in the court of law guilty of anything as yet because both sides of the story has not been heard.
Could we say that Christian is
But
looked at due to association? He may
with
be
the father.
punished even harder, or maybe looked at, even
now,
harder, like I guess a harder punishment.
There's bruises on this woman.
No, I
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
but
yeah.
And
There's some
and-
evidence.
And the father, okay, if you go in a store, right? Let's say Tricky and I go in a store, and we go to he is sitting in the car, and I go in the store, and I have a gun on me, and I stick up the cashier, and I say, "Give me what's in your register," and then he's innocent. He's just sitting in the car, drinking some water and eating some chips.
Yeah, chips or whatever.
Yeah. And I robbed the store, and I went out casually, where I tell the cashier, if you move, you're not gonna be anymore. I'm gonna
Right.
delete you.
Right. Correct.
And I casually walk to the car, and we drive off. And then a mile, 2, 3 miles down the street, we get pulled over.
He's an accomplice to the crime.
He's an
He's
accomplice,
an-
even though
an
he knows
accessory or an
and
accomplice.
that's
Yeah, an
exactly.
accomplice to the
But
crime.
Even though he knows nothing, he's going to get arrested.
but
Right.
Sean Combs
here-
was not present.
But here's the thing. He was told about it, and what did he do?
Well, he acted in the capacity of protecting his son. So
He paid it off.
yeah,
protecting the
Yeah,
family,
yeah,
protecting the image.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. So he is an accomplice to the crime.
But who
After
should he
the
have?
fact.
Who should he have
But-
paid? Who should he have paid? The captain, or her?
Of course. So is it
No,
about
when you
the-
say of course, what you mean?
no,
Her or the captain?
Well, I guess he would pay her since she was the one that went through
Was
what
the-
she went
the
through.
offended,
Exactly.
Right.
But now, if we're talking about pain, now we kind of like introduce a new
Element.
yes,
Right. A new criminal element in the
Right.
whole process.
But that's
Because-
exactly what happened.
because
Mhm.
it seems almost since we haven't heard Christian Combs' side,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost they're adding his dad into it to even make it more salacious.
I see your point. I understand that
And
point. It makes sense
there's-
because Yeah, go ahead.
No, there's a lot of, and I was not there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never take that away from a victim.
Mm-hmm.
With everything that's been going on, it is just the right time
Mm-hmm.
for something like this to kind of get the momentum, that it needs to create whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I guess,
To create that kind of
attention
narrative, yeah,
that
that
she
attention and
needed.
that narrative around her
Yes.
with him because of the dad.
Yes.
You understand? So,
Yeah.
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 And since it did mention that she wanted to be in the music industry, she wanted to be known in this way, and sometimes any publicity is good publicity.
Right. And by far, I'm not coinciding with anything the young man has done, but don't be
We don't.
surprised if you see a lot more women coming forth with different type of scenarios that's similar to what happened to this young lady.
Of course.
And being that
The apple in the tree.
and I think it's
Right.
always good to look at things both ways. The witch trials, right? Once you name one person, then it's out there, it's in the public, then others will come forth.
All right.
Not saying that it's
Mhm.
that, but we do have to look at both sides
Right.
Mm-hmm.
because it is alleged, and but it's easy for people to take advantage of the situation.
Right.
Yes, you have to definitely look at it in a different perspective,
And-
and I agree with you on that point. It's just because I think of if things really go, maybe I should just say when, because the momentum is there right now.
Mm-hmm.
When things actually get where the fan spreads all the shit across the ceiling, right? Some of that shit is going to get splattered on everybody else.
Yes.
And they're going to go run scattering, hiding under the couch, hiding under the table because they don't want the shit to hit them, right?
Yes.
But at some of them, they're going to get hit.
It is the day of reckoning for the Combs family.
It is the day of reckoning, and other people are going to get caught up because that fan is going to splat that all over the place.
Mhm.
Now, when you think about it, let me throw something out there. And Tricky, you know about Uptown Records,
Mm-hmm.
and you know about all the people that was involved in Uptown Records,
Right.
right? The only person that's alive and actually well,
I believe it's Andre Harrell.
no, Andre Earl is dead.
When did Andre? Okay, well, I was nowhere
Yeah.
that he passed.
Right? He's not here anymore.
Mm.
Okay, the only person that's here is Al B. Shore,
Right.
and he almost died.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Recently, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kim Porter
Mm-hmm.
was Andre Harrell's secretary.
Right.
She's died. She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everybody was Kim, Andre Harrell, Heavy D,
Mm-hmm.
Puffy, and Kim, Andre Harrell, Heavy D, Puffy, and there was one other person. I'll be sure,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Everybody's dead except for Puffy and one other person that almost died.
Right. it's my
I'll be
Albie.
sure.
Right. Al
You know what they were all doing? You know what they all were working on? A tell-all book.
Mm.
Every time they announce that they're going to release a tell-all book,
They get deleted, huh?
they get deleted.
Mm.
But the only person that don't get deleted is the person that we're having this conversation about.
Right.
Now,
Now, keep in mind that Al
Yeah.
B. Shore had a child with Kim Porter. As
I
well.
know,
That was Puffy's son. He looked at him as his son. Grew
still
him.
today, Quincy.
Yeah, Quincy. He grew him as his own son.
Right,
Even though it was Al B. Shore's boy.
exactly.
So,
Because he wanted Kim, and Al had her,
right.
right? And what happened? They had to figure it out because
Mhm.
the big wig was the brain. Said, "Hey, Sean is smart."
Was Mary J. Blige? She was at one point in time Uptown record artist as well.
Yeah, she was. She was.
Mhm.
Okay.
But
But she was like the breadwinner at initially. She was one of the first artists that was really raking in the money. So he was never going
And
to.
Heavy D.
Yeah. Well,
I'll
yeah,
be sure too, but no, because I'll be sure right around Heavy D time.
time,
You're
right.
gonna put me on,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
girl. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
right. So they were the breadwinners. But what I'm saying is just when you really, let's yard money top. When you really think about it,
Mm-hmm.
yo, everybody gone,
Right.
right? So to kind of just wind this down, it it is very. I'm going to say this. It's a dynasty that's crashing in front of our eyes, and it's kind of like here goes another one. Who is next? It's kind of like you're on the edge of your seat, like, okay, this is going to happen to Puffy. We know this is going to happen to Puffy. And then, boom. Think of everybody saw the video with what's his name? R. Kelly
Mm-hmm.
years ago with those two girls.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
Right.
And who said, oh, it was his brother?
Right. Somebody said that, but it was really him.
It was really him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he went on to still have a successful career. If that was your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
how would you react?
Understood.
Would R. Kelly be around?
Nah.
All right. Right? It doesn't matter if those girls were loose or whatever you want to say, right? They were young, they got coerced. Fame, glitz and glamour. When
Well, look at Aaliyah.
Some of
Look
them,
at R.
their
Kelly and
parents.
Aaliyah.
some of them, their parents actually
Yeah.
Yes.
sell them off.
Yeah, because in the case of Aaliyah, it was her uncle that signed the daggone marriage certificate with them for them to get married. It was weird,
Right?
but
Because it's money.
yeah,
When glitz and glamour, glitz and glamour, the one big word that covers all the glitz and glamour, opulence. Everybody wants opulence. They want to live the flashy, bling bling lifestyle. Shouts out to, um, what's his name? Uh, come on, Little Wayne.
I was gonna say Birdman.
No, 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 no.
Little Wayne.
Shout out to Little Wayne,
Birdman and Little Wayne. Yeah.
right? And shout out to
Bling bling.
yeah,
Young Money.
yeah, the Young Money crew,
Yeah.
right? So everybody wants opulence, and everybody wants to think they're invincible, and the powers that be are pulling the strings. Puffy's not the big dog. He's not. He got big dog money, right? But the big dogs have 10, 10, 20, 30 times his money, right? Because think about Epstein Island.
Yep.
Some of the people that went over there, we don't have to call any names. We know we've seen the picture, and we get some of the names, the names that's been on the list, right? And some of them redacted the names, so they're not on the list. But we know those some of them were politicians, some of them were musicians, some of them were film executives. We know some of them were big name executives. Hey, Tricky, you remember that time when we were trying to rent a club on Salt Beach and we had to go into that club,
Mm-hmm.
right? You remember that club? There was a lot of executives in there
Yeah.
rubbing up these naked men and yeah, but we had to go to meet the owners of the club that we
Right.
wanted to rent
Right.
in order to be able to put the event on that we wanted to. We end up didn't put on the event,
Right.
but when we walked in,
It
you
was
should
weird.
you should see nothing but um 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 man dancing on the stage and in small little things, and executives are rubbing on their body, and
Yeah, it was crazy.
this has been going on
Yeah, for years.
forever.
Yes, it takes a system to carry out some of these things for so long, to cover it up and to keep it going. So at the end of the day, someone had to be the scapegoat. So
Always, it's always going to be that. When I'm going to say this, and then we're going to wind this up. The time that this started happening, I put correlate some time to it. He filed a lawsuit against De Blasio, the liquor brand, the liquor jogging off, the liquor mon big that big company that makes the liquor, De Blasio, and then all of this started happening.
That's what you're saying. You're talking about You talking about Puff?
Yeah, talking to Mike.
Right. Okay. So, right.
He filed a lawsuit against them, and
Right.
then these things start
He
happening.
start to get exposed.
Wait a second here. Somebody wants to the same way. Listen,
Because
If-
he's Ciroc, right?
yeah, he's a
De Leon.
yeah, De Leon, yeah,
Mm.
right. He's a co-owner of it because he's the marketing behind it, everything. He got ownership because of what he's putting behind it, his
Right,
his
correct.
machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because he put his machine behind them, they made billions of dollars,
Correct. Right.
right? Without him, they wouldn't have amassed that amount of money from just two of their liquors on, and the rest that's on their in their catalog, right? But that's just me. I could be wrong, but it just made sense to me that right after the lawsuit, and then what happened? One of the first things that took place, he dropped the lawsuit.
Yeah, they said they resolved it. Everything was resolved, but they severed their ties,
Aha.
and then all of a sudden,
And how is it? How is it? His drug mule is going to get arrested, and he didn't get arrested. How is it that his plane took off to somewhere, and they were looking for him, but he was right here? It's just it makes there's a lot more in play that we don't know about. He could be innocent of all of this stuff, but it just far fetched to see if is he really innocent or is he not. But I wish him good luck that he's innocent of all of this, and but if he's not, he needs to pay the consequences.
I think sometimes what it sounds like is that a lot of people, just like Weinstein, they knew what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
but no one ever criminalized it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, oh well, it's just something that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But the minute someone decides to put a negative spin on it, and it could be due to that lawsuit he had with the liquor company. So it's like now they're looking at all these things that he was doing all this time that we've heard about for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now that it's like it's so wrong, it's so bad, to the point where I don't even think he knows that it's a bad thing because it's part of his day to day. He's like, what am I doing wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Because the way he lives outside I guess,
The
Well,
general people.
the general
yeah.
laws that govern the general people.
We are peons. We're the
well, I
we're the
wouldn't say
commoners.
we're peons. I wouldn't say
to,
that. But
to him, to
but
his to the people that he's around. He's remember this man is
everyone
around.
can be bought.
This one is around politician. He's around royal family.
Mm-hmm.
He's around princes, kings. He rubs shoulders literally with some of the heaviest people in the world.
Right.
I mean, he rubs. They're on his yacht.
Right.
They come on, this man for years just do anything and just walk away unscathed.
Right. Because even his artists, the way he treats his artists, he treats them as worse than second class citizens. I mean, he wouldn't pay them, but yet
They're
the ones that
commodities.
they're the ones that like
Yeah.
got him to where he is. Like, but here we are.
Mace left him,
Mm-hmm.
and what? Listen, Mace said, go ahead.
Mace had a story to tell. Let me tell you that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mace said,
He went to church.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mace said in an interview on the show that he does with Cameron, right? It is what it is. Shout out to them. That all of those things that happened is what he escaped. And now all this time now, he's where he is, and he's not involved in any of that. They're trying to tie him in some ways in it, but then come on,
A lot of people are being tied into this. So
you know. But you know, I guess we've been here for a minute now, so let's wrap this up. We had a good conversation. Hey. I think this was interesting. Would have been nice to wine to wine it down in a with a different kind of feeling.
which
But-
feeling, as far as feeling just that justice has been served,
No,
or
justice has not been served.
there is not as of yet. But
That's what I'm talking about.
I wonder what your your viewers what they, what their thoughts are on all of this, and um, what they believe the outcome would be. When the dust settles,
Mm-hmm.
like what do they think will, be
Mm-hmm.
the outcome of all this?
Mm-hmm. All right. I guess we're winding down. And thank you. All right. Guys, thank you for showing up. Thank you for having,
Thank you for having us.
I think you
Thank you
guys
for
put more
having
than
us.
2 cents in. I think you guys put like 5 cents in, so now I have a dime.
Sounds
Yeah,
Next
good.
you
time
guys
we'll put $1.
contributed a lot.
Yeah,
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 a dollar's worth for sure.
yeah, dollars worth for sure. Next time, I think you guys should come back and we should actually be on it.
No, I think, yeah.
You should actually
Absolutely.
have your face there. Make come on, people. This might we can do some other kind of discussion where it's not as salacious, and then maybe that would make you feel better. All right, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you watching, and anyone that's going to watch the replay, we appreciate you. Any comments, likes, share, and if you want to get on the podcast, you can call 1-844 put me on. That's 1-844-788-6366. 1-844 put me on, or you can go on Instagram or other social platforms and reach out.
Can
And
they leave a voice for the podcast, as far as with their questions that maybe can be answered?
yeah, if they do
upcoming?
comments, then we can do whether voice or comments,
voice recording on
and then we can
Instagram.
see what their comments are. We will really appreciate all your feedback. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey,
And definitely share.
let's close it out with a hand clap, Gray.